Dear body, I'm sorry for everything that I've put you through. Dear hair, I'm sorry for chopping you up all the time and kind of burning you when I was a kid. Dear head, I'm sorry for all the bad thoughts. And I'm sorry for banging you against my wall when I was a kid and didn't know how to handle my rage. Dear mouth, I'm sorry for everything that I've ever said. Dear throat, I'm sorry for trying to slit you. Dear wrists, I'm sorry for chopping you up all the time. Dear throat, I'm sorry for all the pills. Dear nose, I'm sorry for the cocaine. Dear head, I'm sorry for the cocaine. Dear chest, I'm sorry for insulting you all the time. Dear heart, I'm sorry for trying to kill you all the time. Dear stomach, I'm sorry for starving you. Dear throat, I'm sorry for burning you with my vomit and for intruding upon your personal space with my finger. Dear hands, I'm sorry for all the knives you've had to hold. Dear legs, I'm sorry for making you run places you'd rather not go. Dear feet, I'm sorry for all the heels. Dear thigh, I'm sorry for carving words into you. I'm sorry for torturing you and starving you, and pinching you and burning you and cutting you and banging you and bruising you. I'm sorry for not respecting you. I'm sorry for not holding you up to the standard that you deserve. I'm sorry for not appreciating everything you've done for me. I'm sorry, lungs, for wanting cigarettes so badly. Sorry for all the brain damage. I'm sorry for all the tears. I'm sorry for all the pain I've caused you. Sorry for not respecting you, because you do your job just fine. I'm sorry for hating you so much when I was younger, and I'm sorry for not loving you enough now. I'm sorry for constantly putting you down and looking in the mirror and saying, you're not enough, you're not enough, you're not enough. Because you are enough, you're more than enough. Dear hips, I'm sorry for complaining about you so much and thinking you were so angular and too big and too that. Dear thighs, I'm sorry for being angry that you touched. I'm sorry for pulling and pinching at you to see what I would look like with thinner thighs. I'm sorry for carving into you again. Dear ankles, I'm sorry for the scars. I'm sorry for all the suicide attempts. I'm sorry for all the scratches. Dear ears, I'm sorry for all the criticism you have to hear from everybody and from me. And dear brain, I'm sorry that I forced you to believe it. Dear eyes, I'm sorry that everything that you look at is a lie because of the way that you and my brain and me go together. Dear mouth, I'm sorry for all the times that I've screamed and screamed and screamed at myself. And dear throat, I'm sorry for hurting you too. Dear height, I'm sorry for constantly saying that you're not enough, that I want to be taller and this and that. Dear boobs, I'm sorry that I always tell you you're too small, you're just fine. Dear waist, I'm sorry for thinking that you're too big for me. Dear shoulders, I'm sorry for complaining that you're too broad. I'm sorry for all the self-harm. And I'm sorry you're just getting all your attention now.